Nearly a year had passed since the court victory, and Macaulay was now turning 14. Their backyard was alive with laughter and voices as friends and family gathered to celebrate. Balloons and streamers in bright colors adorned the fences, and a table filled with food and drinks was set up under a large banner that read, "Happy Birthday, Macaulay." Among the guests was Gemma, a bright-eyed, spirited girl with dark curls and a radiant smile. She and Macaulay had grown close over the past year, and now she was officially his girlfriend. Her parents, Jerome and Layla, had also become close friends with California and Sue, and were enjoying themselves as they chatted with the other guests. Macaulay had a group of friends from school there too, boys he played football with. They were clustered around him, eyes wide with excitement as they checked out his latest birthday gift, the newest PlayStation, a present from California, Sue, and the grandparents. The boys erupted into cheers, practically dragging Macaulay upstairs to his room, where he'd set up a tricked-out crib, as he called it, complete with posters, lights, and now the prized gaming console. California laughed as they disappeared up the stairs, then turned to Sue, who was adjusting the speakers near the back door. "I'll put on some music for us," Sue said, picking up the remote and turning on the television. She was about to select a playlist when she paused on the screen, her brows knitting together. "Hey, check this out," she said, catching California's attention. "It's the election results." The room quieted slightly as everyone's eyes shifted to the screen. The news anchor's voice was calm but clear, the ticker at the bottom of the screen announcing a landslide victory for Terry's opponent. The anchor explained how Terry's divisive rhetoric and increasingly extreme views had led to his dramatic fall in popularity, ultimately making him a political pariah. "Well, I can't say I'm surprised," Layla said, shaking her head with a smile. "People can only tolerate so much hate and nonsense." Just as Sue was about to switch to the music, the screen shifted, catching everyone's attention again. John Lowfield's face flashed across the screen, his eyes wide with desperation, shouting about being innocent as uniformed officers led him away in handcuffs. "Wait, is that?" California began, leaning in closer. The anchor's voice continued, explaining that John Littlefield had been arrested on charges of embezzling hundreds of millions of dollars from the tribal casino. A grainy video clip showed him shouting to the cameras, "I'm innocent." This is all a misunderstanding, as the officers escorted him into the back of a police car. Sue let out a low whistle, exchanging a glance with California. Looks like he finally got what was coming to him. The adults gathered around the screen, shaking their heads at the irony of the situation, while Jerome chuckled. He tried to take Macaulay away, and now he's the one losing everything. "It's just as if you asked me," Robin added, crossing her arms with a satisfied smile. "You can't act like that forever and expect it to end well." Sue finally clicked over to the music, and upbeat tunes filled the backyard, bringing the cheerful atmosphere back. California looked around at everyone, feeling a deep sense of gratitude that they had made it through all those challenges together. She reached for Sue's hand, squeezing it as they shared a quiet smile, a wordless acknowledgement of how far they'd come. Upstairs, Macaulay and his friends were lost in the excitement of the new PlayStation, and outside, the adults laughed and celebrated, knowing that their family's future was bright and, at last, free from those who had tried to tear them apart. California led Sue into the kitchen, her face flushed with excitement and nerves. She held something in her hand, and Sue immediately noticed the slight tremor. "I have something to tell you," California began, her eyes gleaming with a mixture of joy and disbelief. "Now, I know we only just started this," but she held up a pregnancy test, her voice barely a whisper. The sperm donation worked. Sue's eyes went wide, her hand flying to her mouth. "Oh my God," she squealed, leaping into the air and wrapping her arms around California, practically bouncing with joy. "We're going to have a baby. Oh my God." They laughed and hugged, both of them caught up in the enormity of the moment. Only a few months had passed since they'd exchanged vows in a simple courthouse ceremony, but here it was, their dream unfolding, more real than they could have ever imagined. "Come on," California said, grinning as she wiped a tear from her cheek. "Let's tell everyone." They called the rest of the family and friends into the kitchen, and as they shared the news, the room erupted in cheers and congratulations. Robin hugged Sue, whispering, I knew it would happen, while Roy clapped California on the shoulder, a proud smile on his face. Elena raised her glass in a toast, and Gemma and her parents cheered along with the others, overjoyed for the couple. Just then, Macaulay came running down the stairs, eyes wide as he took in the celebration. "What's going on?" he asked, looking around at the beaming faces. California and Sue knelt down in front of him, each taking one of his hands. California's voice was soft but full of joy. "Macaulay, you're going to have a little brother or sister." Macaulay's face lit up, his eyes filling with tears as he threw his arms around both of them. "I'm going to be a big brother," he whispered, his voice thick with emotion. He clung to them tightly, his happiness radiating through the room. Someone pulled out a phone and they all gathered together. California, Sue, Macaulay, Robin, Roy, Gemma, Jerome, Layla, and all their closest friends, forming a joyful cluster around the soon-to-be parents. They took a selfie, laughter and tears of joy on their faces, capturing the moment as they announced the next chapter of their journey together on social media. As they looked at the photo, Sue leaned her head on California's shoulder, whispering, "We've really built something beautiful here, haven't we?" California wrapped her arm around her, her eyes soft and full of love. "Yeah, and it's only the beginning."